There will be no rest for Manchester United interim head coach Michael Carrick this week. Fresh off a Manchester derby, United turn around to take on top of the table Arsenal. Now, we did sort of help the Gunners with their title race, right, by dominating City last weekend in that derby. Not being, hey, some of us were a little worried about whether or not they would hand Arsenal the league. Basically, now we just have to turn around and do the same thing to Arsenal at their gaff. So that's what we're gonna do. We're doing our part to keep the league interesting, right? That's what we're doing. How do we do that though? That's what we're here to discuss today. This is Unitedverse, everybody. I am your host, Sean. Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time, welcome. We're talking tactics, we're talking team news, starting 11, score predictions, all that today as we preview United's trip to the Emirates to take on high-flying Arsenal. If this is your first time, feel free to introduce yourself. Let me know where you're watching from. I love to see how the community is growing. But we're going to dive right in, you guys, starting with a little news. I'm not going to talk about Cole Palmer. I don't talk about Indy Kayla reports. You guys know that. So if you're looking for Cole Palmer stuff, go watch someplace else. But anyway, get that like button hit, you guys. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you guys are new and you like what you see. Share, please, if you can, on your socials. That would be a big help. And let's get stuck in. Starting with the under-18s FA Youth Cup against Derby County just kicked off. I've got it on my phone right in front of me. So if I get a little excited as we're going along, it's probably because we just scored. But they do kick off right now. It's on the MUTV if you guys get MUTV. It is at Old Trafford as well. So that's kind of cool for the youngsters to get to go play at Old Trafford. Justin and I, last year when we went to Old Trafford, when we went to Manchester for a trip, we did go to an FA Youth Cup match at, it was at Lee. It wasn't at Old Trafford, but it was excellent. We played Preston. We had a suite. It was really cool. Food was amazing. Atmosphere was amazing. Got to meet Zane, the little United fan. You guys know the youngster, the United fan. He was there as well. So big up the youngsters. We will be watching along again. It is on MUTV if you guys get that. JJ Gabriel starts. Cheeto starts as well. I think this is the first time they've started together. Kai Rooney is on the bench tonight. We're in the number 18. So big up the youngsters, though. Let's see who is in the chat, though, first and foremost. Danny B in the house. Hit that like button on the way in. Yes, please do hit that like button. Danny Jarvis actually messaged me early this morning about Mamadou Sangare. You guys remember the midfielder that we scouted way back in like June, July, and I sent him a link to that scouting report that we did. But he's obviously turning lots of heads right now in the French league, doing very well at Lens. But remember, we scouted him when he was still playing way back when. So if you guys want to go learn a little bit about Mamadou Sangare, go check out some of the scouting reports as well. Tons of scouting reports. Just did one yesterday. Go check that one out if you haven't yet. I did put timestamps in the description now in the comments so you guys can shoot straight to a player if you want to look at them. But yeah, just did another one of those yesterday. 7 players we did yesterday. So go check that out. Big up, Stephanie's in the house. Like City game, I'm confident our United turns up against big teams this evening. Well, evening, Steph. Thank you for the confidence. Always bring the positivity and the hope here. That's what we're all about. But we also bring a little bit of that, balance it out, because Arsenal, they're top for a reason. So it is going to be a tough ask. But let's start with some news, because obviously the big news yesterday came from the club and also from Casemiro himself. But we did get confirmation that Casemiro is going to be leaving United this summer when his contract is up. I know there are a lot of reports, a lot of rumors about him maybe extending, and a lot of people have been raging about that. And not to toot my own horn, but I do not do entire shows raging about random rumors from random sources, i.e. club wants to extend Casemiro's contract. So it doesn't sound like that's happening. You can look on the club's website, check Casemiro's Twitter. He's got little videos, little messages and everything. It's all pretty good. I don't know what's next for Casemiro. Without sounding callous or unappreciative, because I love Casemiro. I do think we signed him probably 3 years too late personally, but I care more about what this means for United moving forward. His wages off the books is a big help going into pretty much a rebuild in terms of midfield. Him being gone does mean we do need a defensive mind. I wouldn't mind an experienced leader as well, but we do need someone of that Casemiro ilk in midfield. Bruno's back to the 10. Who knows what's happening with him? So that means now that we're back to a 4-2-3-1, we no longer have 4 midfielders that we can choose from 2 different positions. We have 3 midfielders, now down to 2 with Casemiro leaving, and Ugarte and Mainoo, really. You can make an argument that maybe Bruno could drop down to the kind of a 10 role, but I think I'd rather army the pivot and kind of play a Carrick role. I'd rather have him kind of playing in that 10 role. But again, this leaves us Mainoo and Ugarte, and then whatever youngsters may be ready for the first team. But even then, I mean, they're not quite ready for me to be like, yep, week in, week out, they're in the matchday squad. They still have a lot of development. We've seen some guys like Fletcher get some minutes. Kone is obviously the one on everyone's lips as well. But we need a Casemiro replacement. Let me know who your pick for Casemiro to replace him this summer. Again, someone a little more defensive now, someone who can play on the back foot a little bit, but also maybe someone who's a bit of a leader. Doesn't mean they have to be older, but leader is like big deal. Like Declan Rice, leader before he was signed by Arsenal, even that kind of mentality. Maybe someone with a little bit of passing range. I love Kobbie, but the passing range, the line breaking passes are not necessarily what I think of when I think Kobbie. He is that ball carrier in midfield, the one who's going to break that first press, get that ball into the middle third, and then kind of progress it. He's maybe going to receive it off the center backs, receive it off the six even, and kind of play a little higher up. That's where I see Kobbie anyway. But let me know who your replacement would be for Kobbie. Justin's in the house. Big up, Justin. Good to see you, my friend. Hope you're doing well.
Oh, yeah!
Justin always gets one of those, man. Hope you're doing well, man. I saw that you called yesterday. I didn't listen to it. I thought it was maybe another butt dial. Justin butt dials me a lot. So, but yeah, let me know what's up. Danny says Anderson has hands down. Yep. Anderson would definitely be my pick. I think he's really developed in leaps and bounds this last year, especially last season, we got a little glimpse. Anderson looking really, really good, a little bit stuck in. This year, he's added a whole ball progression layer to his game, which I really like. He's playing a little bit more passes. Wharton's on a lot of people's lips, obviously. If you deep Wharton's pass completion, though, it's actually not great. He plays a lot of passes. He just doesn't complete a lot of them. So whether that's down to Palace or not, it is what it is, but it is something to keep in mind. Stephanie says, Casemiro is an absolute class act, perfect professional footballer. His biggest United achievement, other than ending our 6-year trophy drought, could be securing UCL. Yeah, I'd love us to get to UCL, obviously, next season. I think that that would be just, it's needed. It's almost a must. Now, I know a lot of people like, well, it's United, we should. I get that argument, right? But you have to be a little bit more realistic when it comes to context, expectations, and all that stuff. That yes, United need to be in the Champions League year in, year out. I just don't know how realistic that is given where we are. And right now, what would happen if we were in the Champions League with this squad? I mean, this squad got knocked out of the FA Cup, first time of asking. League Cup, the Grimsby. Does this squad right now look like it can hang in the Champions League? I just don't think so personally, but I may be solo on that regard. Let's see, Justin, what do you got? I'm trying to see if we're doing. Are you guys are trying to do trivia again? Is that going to be like a weekly thing now? I mean, I'm cool with it, but I didn't know. But yeah, I will. I'll have to get back to you. We do trivia on Thursdays. Really, it's just an excuse to eat pizza and drink Guinness, but I'm all for that as well. Big up, Kai. Maybe Wharton to be more likely. Yeah. Palace, I mean, obviously Palace are a definite selling club. Forest, though, don't sleep on Forest being relegated. Forest are just outside the relegation zone. That could be a big, big difference between whether or not we get someone like Anderson. Expect Forest to lose a lot of players if they get relegated. I expect guys like Gibbs White to be gone. I expect guys like Hudson-Odoi to go, Murillo, even like guys like Milinkovic, I expect to go. Ole Aina, all these guys will probably jump ship if they get relegated. I don't think they're going to wait around to see if they get promoted again. But big up, Kai. Welcome back. Yeah, it is a little bittersweet, right? I think that last season and we all started to kind of feel like, all right, Casemiro he's got to go. And then he came back really, really fit, really, really energetic, really mobile from the summer, the preseason, and looked great. We were like, where has this guy been? And then that last international break hit November, and he came back looking every single bit like a 32-year-old player. And he can't hang for an hour anymore. His legs are going after an hour or so. And we don't really have an adequate replacement. You can say we have a similar profile on Ugarte, but Ugarte is very different in that he is more mobile. He is more of an N'Golo Kante. I'm going to win the ball. Not saying he's as good before anybody clips me up, but Casemiro is definitely, these days, Casemiro is more of a holding midfielder. And if he can win that first tackle, he's going to win the first tackle. If not, he's done. He's out of the game. He's either getting yellow or he's getting out. Chico, welcome. Chico got sauce. I like that one. Says Castro's amazing the first year. The rest is meh. He had a really good start to this season, I'd argue. He missed like 8 or 9 matches his first season under Ten Hag because he kept getting suspended, if you guys remember that nonsense. I was at one of the matches where he got sent off. It was not fun. And I was at that Galatasaray match when he gave away that pen. That was more on Onana than anybody. So he says, Casemiro backup, Ruben Neves in January. Casemiro replacement, yeah. Well, are you going to be able to have Ruben Neves and Anderson in the same side is the question. That's a big question because that's big wages for Ruben Neves. He's still at that age where he's still going to expect to probably play week in, week out. And then if you bring in Anderson as well, what does that mean? You play them both together? What happens to Kobbie in that? We can't play that many midfielders unless we go full diamond or something and just do that mode, which could work. And then you could put, either Cunha and Mbumo up front, but then you're benching Seshko, you're benching Ahmad. It's a good problem to have, but it's interesting. Sancheet's in the house. Big up, Sancheet. Very active in the United vs. Everybody WhatsApp group. You guys, the starting 11 and Legends members do get access to that WhatsApp group. Because like we always say, that just because the stream ends doesn't mean the conversation has to. But big up, Sancheet. Good to see you again. Chico says, Neves is impossible to do because of the wage. Well, he's definitely not going to get the wages that he's getting in the Saudi league. I think players who are in the Saudi league and who want to leave are pretty much going to have to accept the fact that, yeah, this was a one-time thing. We're not getting that anywhere else. I don't think Neves would expect to get the wages he's on. I don't think we would become anywhere. He would get maybe like $200K a week tops for me, for Ruben Neves, just because of what he brings in leadership, his ability on the ball. I've wanted Ruben Neves at United for a long, long time. I thought he was an excellent player. I was really bummed that he went to the Saudi League when he did. He was only, 25, 26 when he went? Like, that's ridiculous. He pretty much just said, fuck it, I'm just going to go get the bag. Which is boring. I don't like when players do that. I'm still annoyed with Oscar when he went to the Chinese league when he was like 22 or something. And I think he was still there until very recently. I think he's at Sao Paulo now, if I remember correctly. And Stephanie says, assuming we're in Europe, we can't just get... Now, it's very true. But my question is do you get Ruben Neves and Anderson? Because then you're rotating two very high-profile, expensive players. And maybe you get someone like Anderson or Ruben Neves, and then you, as your backup, you get someone who is young, who's doing well, but yes, the step up to the Premier League means they're probably going to have to rotate someone like Buwadi or something, perhaps someone like that come in. Because Buwadi's like, 17, 18? You get Neves, Anderson, and then you get Buwadi as a backup. That's your kind of defensive thing locked up. And then maybe we can see if there's a youngster you can come in and rotate with Kobbie as well. These are the options. These are the things that directors of football need to figure out. I don't have a part to. Kai says, did Garner sign a I don't know yet if he's signed it. I know that they still have the option, right, to extend it by the year. Everyone loves the +1 now. We've been pretty much making a living off of +1 in hopes that maybe we can get a little bit of something for our players, but it hasn't gone well. But yeah, what I'm really hoping for, and what some of the rumors are claiming now with all this Casemiro stuff, is kind of a midfield rebuild with Kobbie Mainoo as its focal point, if that makes sense. Because Kobbie Mainoo, obviously, Michael Carrick loves him. I can't say with any certainty that Michael Carrick is going to be here forever, but Michael Carrick loves Kobbie Mainoo. If Kobbie Mainoo is the foundation as that focal point, I think that, again, we need leadership next to him. We need some physicality next to him. Ben Jacobs claims this today. I don't know if you guys saw this from Ben Jacobs. Again, Ben Jacobs makes a lot of claims. He said in the last few days, and even today, Manchester United keeps speaking to Michael Carrick about what might be available in the transfer market. There could be something last minute for United in midfield. This is the same Ben Jacobs who claimed last week that we were in for a mystery midfielder as well. I'm not sure. I mean, I don't know if this, let's say hypothetically this is true. Why are we waiting? I don't get that. That's the stuff that annoys me, is why are we waiting to do this business? Why can't we just why are we waiting to literally the last second of the transfer window to go and get this stuff done? If you're worried about finances, waiting till the last weekend of a transfer window is the last thing you should be doing then, because that's only going to make things more expensive. You want to get the best deal, do it, literally get it done January 1st. A signing a quality midfield signing Could have been the difference between that Burnley match. It could have been the difference in the Brighton match. We could have still be in the FA Cup for, I mean, who knows? Like, that's the kind of stuff that I don't get. You're supposed to be even a half adequate director of football can see that kind of stuff, right? Like, that's what I don't get, man. Strengthening early this month could have definitely made a huge difference. We could have been fourth, having maybe gotten a nice midfielder in there. But again, Kobbie's going to need physicality next to him. Passing range maybe next to him, like I said. And then, a lot of the names are being touted right now. I've seen some reports claiming like I saw a TalkSport video earlier, title, Alex Crook reveals like who United looked at. He's not revealing anything. He's just listing all the midfielders we've been linked to. Guys like João Gomez and Baleba, Wharton, Anderson, the same names that everybody talks about week in, week out. And then you guys, someone mentioned it, Garner. I would take Garner back. I think he is an excellent Casemiro replacement. Even in the last several weeks, Garner has shown me something that I haven't seen from him in a while, ever maybe, to be fair, and that's just that leadership. He's been directing traffic for Everton. He's been vocal. He's been just pointing, doing this. He's been the one going and grabbing the game by the scruff of the neck, making things happen, making himself an option. Garner's development this season, especially in the last few months, has been amazing to watch. I was still super annoyed that we let him go, but it is what it is. The club wants its money, right? What are you guys saying here? Yes, please hit that like button if you guys haven't yet. Let me know who your Casemiro replacement. Let me know what your midfield overhaul would look like this summer, because from the looks of things, that is next on the list. We did a defensive overhaul under Ten Hag. We did an attacking overhaul this past summer, and now we are hopefully going to be focusing on that midfield, because it has been neglected far too long. I put that graphic up the other week of all the years that we've signed midfielders, and there are like four since Fergie left, four transfer windows, 4 summer windows since Fergie retired that we haven't signed a single midfielder. In that time, we've also signed old midfielders like your Matic, your Schweinsteigers and stuff as well. I think the best we've done is like maybe Pogba, maybe Herrera. We've signed Fred in there as well. I think Ugarte, like, it's just not been good enough. Stephanie says, mention midfield to the board, and the blinkers in the headphones go on. Yeah, they're going to be like, we got to figure out the manager. We got to figure out the stadium. We got to stack some more people. Oh, you want a midfielder? Let's go fire a bunch of let's just get rid of the kid programs. Danny says, Garner gone to my second choice after. And well, let me know why. Like, are you like me and like you've seen him kind of raise his levels in the last couple weeks? Because that, for me, is definitely what did it. The contract situation is a nice clincher as well. But yeah, let me know why. Stephanie says, Carrick surely must have asked about Hayden Hackney. Yeah, we're seeing a lot of the lazy Hayden Hackney links. Some websites are kind of recycling old links and just saying like, basically the website's just like team talk and caught offside and all that shit. Just say like, oh, United could go back in for a midfielder they've been linked with in the past, i.e. Hayden Hackney. Anything, if you guys believe anything you're reading, Kahe's caught offside, team talk, that like I feel bad for you. But Stephanie says, even under Sir Alex, we relied on an aging Giggs and Scholes. Yeah, we brought Giggs out of retirement. If you guys remember that stuff. That was funny. We let Pogba go to Juve, and then we said, Scholes, come back. And he did. And we won another league. So I guess there's something to be said. No, you're right. I don't have a problem with older players if it's the right older player. Like, I would go get Jared Bowen as a kind of leader, striker, like a different kind of attacking profile to Šeško. He's basically almost the same as Mbumo, really. But I think Bowen has also played in a 2. He's also played striker, and he's a leader. He knows the league. I think I would go take Jared Bowen as a backup. A player that we've mentioned in the past that I've not been too big of a fan on. Now, this had a lot to do with the wages, but Dusan Vlahovic, I think, is going to be a free agent this summer. On the right wages, as a free agent, I could definitely be down for Vlahovic in the summer, but a lot of the boxes he'd have to take a big wage cut. And again, if he's going to be a free agent, then I think that's a good opportunity for me personally. But Danny says, watching him the last 6 months, his quality is there. Yeah, he has definitely gone up in levels. And that's sometimes just what needs to happen for players, is just a couple of years. Every player develops at different rates. What we've seen from him this season, like Anderson and whatnot, is they've just gone up a level. So, but yeah, let me know what you guys would do in midfield if you have any other options. Some people are still looking at Lamine Camara. Ibrahim or Mamadou Sangare, Lucien Agume, another player we've mentioned in the past as well. El Nouahi over in the French League too. I think he's at Lille, or that somebody else. I can't. I've scouted so many players. Nemecha at Dortmund is another one we've talked about in the past. Oh yeah, what's the score? I had to look at my phone for a second, and so I couldn't check the score. But what is the score in that? Someone let me know what the Youth Cup score is for me real quick. I had to check my phone, so I took the screen off real quick. Moving on, because that's how we roll here on United versus Everybody. Let's talk a little bit about Kobbie Mainoo's contract, because now that, Carrick's here, Carrick loves Mainoo, Amorim's gone, Kobbie's been playing and honestly playing well. Let's have it right. He played very, very well in the derby, I thought. Loads of outlets claiming that United are ready to start talks with Kobbie and his representatives over a new contract. As usual, we're seeing a lot of different numbers out there right now in terms of the wages. I don't know what you guys choose to believe, but remember we were getting Wheeler Dealer talking about 200K a week, and then it was 180K, and then it was 150K. Chris Wheeler. Well, those are the numbers I'm seeing now. People are regurgitating the 200K, the 150K, and whatnot, and so I don't know how much would you guys pay? How much is a fair wage for Kobbie based on just everything that we've seen? So, Rich says 1-1. What up? What up, Rich? Good to see you again. Yeah, we'll do some predictions later on. We're going to do the news a little bit now. It's still 0-0 in the FA Youth Cup match. All right, big up. But yeah, I had to turn it off for a second. So, but what would be a fair wage for Kobbie now? I'm leaning more. Definitely on the lower end. I'm leaning more towards that 150K. If it were me, I'd be going like 120-ish, 125 tops, maybe with bonuses. That would be where I would start it, because he's still young, still got time. I would literally say to him, listen, we know that you want to go to England. We're worried about everything that happened behind the scenes when it looked like that might not happen because you weren't getting minutes. And your first solution to that was to leave because it felt like you were maybe more concerned about minutes than this. Help us understand what was going on there. What was your thought process? We want to know where you're coming from, because that's when your first solution is to run and go get some minutes elsewhere. That's a bit of a concern for us as United. We're the ones who brought you through the academy and we backed you and stuff. So that would be where I would start that conversation. Now, it might not go well, but that you guys know that was a big part. That was a big cause for concern for me under this whole Amorim Kobbie drama. Was where is Kobbie's focus? If it's not on United, then I have a problem with that. But what would you guys pay Kobbie per week? I'm going more towards and to me, 125 is a lot still. I might even cut that down to like 100 if it were up to me. Danny's going 90K with bonuses. Maybe something like 100 with the bonuses that take it to 125 could be better. Rich, I don't even know what Euro is on, to be fair, off the top of my head. You never know who to believe these days. People are still saying we were paying Alexis Sanchez like 800K a week. People still say we're paying Casemiro like 350K. Everybody got a pay cut by 25% when we failed to qualify for Champions League. So I don't know where people are getting these numbers from personally, but you never know. It all depends on where you read it from. Kai's saying 100K tops. Yeah, most of you guys are bit strict. Let's see. Stephanie says no more than 100K. Too much too soon. Seems to destroy young justice. And this is the hard part. And this is what I think some United fans, because you have a good point. Like, I don't disagree with you, but this is where a lot of United fans, football fans in general, are going to have to kind of draw a line in the sand. Is it better to pay the player more and keep them, or is it better to maybe put down that boundary and say, no, we don't want to pay too much. It's something to work towards, because you do that and you do run the risk of losing a player to a club who will pay them more money. And so there's that risk, and I'd see every side of that. I think you guys are spot on with how much money we want to pay. Rich says, don't think we should throw crazy contracts around. Yeah. And again, kind of like the Jadon Sancho situation. What was the long-term planning behind the Jadon Sancho contract? Because we signed him when he was, 21, 22? I can't remember now off the top of my head. Signed him on big wages. What was going to happen when it was time to renew his contract? You're going to have to up that to like 450, 500K a week. Like, that's what I'm talking about. You put Kobbie on 150, 200K a week, and in 3 years, 2 or 3 years, if he has some really good seasons, now you're going to have to up that. Give them something to work towards, give them something to earn, let them, and then it's easier to reward that kind of stuff. We do not want to be in a situation with like Marcus Rashford where, whatever happened, it is what it is. But where we got him his new contract, and then just form just went off a cliff. And now we're stuck with this player who we're going to lose for peanuts compared to what we could have sold him for a couple of years ago. And it's how the wages have a lot to do with it. And it's the same with Pogba, same with Varane, same with De Gea, same with everyone who's walked out of this club for free has done so simply because we pay them too much money and no one can afford it. And that's not a Ten Hag issue, a Mourinho issue, an Amorim issue, and all. That's a Woodward, an Arnold, a Glazers issue, that they are giving these players too much money because they think that they throw enough money at a problem, that's going to solve it. It's just ridiculous the way this club has been run. Absolutely ridiculous. Somebody says, Europa and yours. Nice. Rich says, Salah, De Bruyne around 400K. Yeah, I think Liverpool have the highest wage bill, followed by City. And then I think we are down either third or fourth. I can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, Liverpool are up there as the top ones. And then City, I think, below them. People forget, like, when Liverpool fans wanted to sit here and criticize other clubs for paying their players so much money, they look at what you guys are paying the club. And then, it doesn't even touch upon City and how much of their wages are actually legit or not. I mean, you got guys like Mancini out coaching. It's like 12-year-olds out in Saudi or Qatar or wherever. And apparently that's worth like 50 million. Like, come on, guys, for real. Stevie says, Alexis Sanchez wages was madness. Yeah, I don't think anyone's ever really going to know how much his actual wages were, to be honest with you. I think bonuses when they're like starts and whatnot, but I don't think it was anywhere near what a lot of people are trying to put out as the actual wages. I think that's just absolutely ridiculous, personally. Give me 1 second. I'm going to put this Youth Cup match back on my TV here. So there it is, because my computer was working now. Guys, make sure you're liking, make sure you're subscribing. Let me put this back up here so I can watch it while I talk. Danny says, I like the new crest in the top right-hand corner. Yep, got that one. That one's been up there for a couple weeks now, Danny, if you missed the show. I am fully Ineos out, not because I think they're criminals, just because I think they're 100% incompetent. I don't think they know what they're doing. And that is almost worrying. I mean, as United fans, we have the options we have right now as far as owners are to trust our money to thieves or to trust it to idiots. It's just, we are caught between a rock and a stupid place right now, man. But yeah, for that reason, I do have the new crest in the corner. It's pretty much the same as the old one, just this one has Ineos in it. Now, it does change if you guys watch the scouting report. You can always tell if it's a scouting report when there's a little notebook image in the upper right-hand corner. And then when there's sales going on in the store, I have a sale one as well. There is a sale right now. I just opted for this one today. But yeah, I did extend the 20% off in the United vs. Everybody store, so you can go check that one out. But so it sounds like a lot of you are going for the sort of 100K, maybe 90 with some bonuses, maybe. So it sounds like with bonuses, most of us are kind of okay with between 100 to like 120K a week, which I think is fair. The question is, in this modern game, in this modern football landscape, what are Kobbie's reps gonna see? Is it gonna be like FC 26 where you sit down and you adjust the wages and then you get the little cutscene of the of the agent going, all right, to be honest, the wages you're offering are an insult. We're not interested in joining your club anymore. And then you got to wait a week before you try again. Who knows? It could be just like that. Indecipios. All right. That's funny. I'm surprised I said that right the first time. If I'm going to be honest, I'm going to give myself a little pat on the back for that one. There we go. But yeah, if you have any other thoughts on Kobbie and his contract, let me know your thoughts. We'll move on to some other news here. I'm going to get Kobbie off the screen here because we don't really need to see that anymore. Speaking of finances and rebuilds, we might be rebuilding, but not in the way that you guys and many of us were hoping, because I don't know if you saw the announcement today from the club, but the Old Trafford regeneration project has taken another step forward as the local government has approved a Old Trafford regeneration mayoral developmental program, which is basically what that means is the Manchester government and their whole kind of, I guess, task force, if you want to go Parks and Rec about it, that's been approved to be like a subcommittee to be formed. Basically, we already had one, and now they've got another one. So we had our own committee as Manchester United. And now we've got the local government has their own committee. That's been greenlit basically, and that mayoral committee has been the driving force behind the project, according to the club. I've seen a lot of people calling it PR spin. I'm inclined to agree in terms of, hey, any positive news is a plus for us right now. I don't like, a lot of people are saying like, ahead of the protest, now we've got this PR. The protests aren't for another week, so I don't really know what that's going to do for the protests. And honestly, I don't really think something like this is really going to make a huge difference. It's not like it's huge news. All it means really is a subcommittee has been approved for this project. Now, it does mean the project is going to go through, but it's not a project that's going to be seen through to completion for another 5, 6, 7 years probably. So I don't even know if I have a channel by then. I'm going to be in my mid to late 40s at that point. No one wants to see me doing stuff like that. I'm going to be sleeping and stuff when I'm that old. I don't care. No offense to anyone's old. It's a joke. I call myself old all the time, and I'm 40. And here, Danny, never change, man. Never change. A lot of interesting stuff today. We got obviously the Casemiro news. We've got the presser. We've got a big news day today on a Friday, which is interesting. Durex Stadium. You guys are funny. Yeah, it will be interesting to see what this new stadium. I'm glad that it looks like the whole circus tent aesthetic is going to be a little too expensive, because I thought that was stupid looking. It looks fine without the circus tent. If you like remove the circus tent, it looks just fine. It kind of looks like Bayern's stadium, which I really like Bayern Stadium. I know a lot of people go back and forth about what kind of aesthetic they want. Some people like the Bayern kind of Wando Metropolitano kind of look. Some people don't. Some people think those look like spaceships. It is what it is. It's same with like kits and stuff. Some people don't like the white tiger kit from a couple. I happen to like the white tiger kit. Some people call it the zebra kit. I think white tiger kit makes it sound cooler. Fight me. Kai's 42. Big up, Kai. Rise up, the 40 years old. We're taking over, man. I'm at that age, Kai. 40 is that age where when you sleep really well, you know your neck's going to be fucked for like 2 or 3 days. That's my age. I'm right in that sweet spot. Whatever the Venn diagram is, I'm right in that spot right there for it. So, but big up, 40 years old. I like it. Moving on. But see, also, everyone's raging a little bit about the financial report that was released. I think it was yesterday that came out, showing that United are in 8th right now for revenue from last season. Arsenal and City have moved above us, I think, by like 30 million or so. Now, a lot of people are raging about this. Like I said, I'm not accusing you guys. I'm just saying a lot of people are. A lot of on Twitter, like, this club's a mess. Like, first of all, the club actually made more revenue last year. Again, you guys remember, it was a record year for us. We actually saw a 3% increase in revenue. The problem is, this has a lot to do with the fact that we have repeatedly not been in Champions League for a number of years now. We've only been in a couple times in the last couple of years. We went out super early that last year before the 23-24 season. So that's been a big part of it. And that's coming straight from Kieran Maguire. I asked him about it on LinkedIn. He sent me a message, says, yes, it has a lot more to do with the fact that they're repeatedly not in Champions League. Second of all, there's like 9 Premier League teams up in this top 20. So again, a lot of it shows you just how lucrative the TV money in the Premier League has been recently. I mean, Villa are like 14 on this list, and they're struggling massively. So it has got to widen the lens a little bit. Yes, we've dropped, but again, it's not because of anything sudden. Again, it's not because we've lost money. We made money. It's that other teams are making more money now because they've gone to finals and whatnot, and they're competing in Champions League on a regular basis. We are not. We make money every year. Again, record numbers last year, but again, the on-pitch struggles and the failures in that regard it's slowed our progress in that regard to a snail's pace, and it's allowed other clubs to just surpass us, which we've seen happen since Ferguson retired, in a number of ways. Now the financial ways, the revenue, the transfer, the rebuilds, all that stuff, just the proper structure. We've not gotten it right, and this is kind of another example. City actually dropped in revenue last year after they went trophyless. So again, but they're still up there because they make money in a lot of other ways, quote unquote. But it was a record-breaking year for clubs in general. 12 billion in revenue generated in this list. And keep in mind too, again, coming from Kieran McGuire, this right here is just the money league from Deloitte. I think it was like a financial. This isn't anything official. It's definitely not an indicator of clubs' financial health as well. So just try to keep that in mind too. But again, we made money last year, record numbers last year in terms of revenue. Other teams just move past us because we're not in Champions League and it's killing us. So, and it says no Thwaites. I did not see him. I got it on my screen now, so I can't see the bench. If I change it again, it's going to go all over the place. But I'm trying to remember if I saw Thwaites on the bench. I don't remember seeing the name anywhere, but I don't quote me on that. You might have to check the club's the website. Somebody says Chidi charge is very quiet again. That's why Pep a prisoner at Etihad. Yeah, it's interesting. Pep gave a weird response the other day after they lost to Bodo Glimt, saying he knows what the problem is. Like he knows what's going on. I don't know what's happening. They keep signing players. I mean, signing new players doesn't seem to be the solution. I mean, it was for a while, but now you just can't buy the league anymore like they were. So I don't know. We'll see. I watched something. It was a financial expert, Stefan Borsan. He was speaking on TalkSport. He seems to think that we will get some sort of update soon regarding their 115 charges. I don't know. Maybe it sounds again like it's common sense, but I don't think that common sense really plays into the whole City situation because common sense we would have seen a charge sooner than, more than a year now out from all of it. But again, they've got to go through each of these charges one at a time, 115 of them. They've got to basically, each one of those is almost a separate little case, but it's interesting what's going on. I would just love, take away every trophy, I don't need points deductions. I don't need relegations. I don't even need fines. Just take away the trophies. And then that will make me so happy because they're having to start from scratch at that point. They've won nothing at that point. Cheeto doing well. It looks like their keeper's down. Derby. Interesting stuff. Still 0-0. About 9 minutes to go to halftime, guys. Make sure you like and make sure you're subscribing because now we're getting to the nitty gritty. It's been almost 40 minutes. We haven't even talked about this match yet. We have just been talking about the news, but it's been an excellent conversation. You guys are awesome. Love to see and hear everyone's opinions on everything. Let's talk about this match, you guys. Steph says, I think when Pep leaves, they will clobber them, hopefully. See, it doesn't matter if Pep leaves, though, because if they get clobbered, then everything Pep won doesn't matter anyway. So what is he really running from at that point? It's not like he's going to escape it. It's not like he's going to a non-extradition country and he's escaping the charges. Like, he may not have anything to do with the charges, but it still strips everything he won. Like, so take it all away. No more Champions League, no more Centurions, no more, like, three-peat. Nothing. He gets nothing. So, and I'm here for it, honestly. Bricked up at the thought of that personally. So, but let's talk about this match, you guys, because this is going to be an interesting match. Like I said, it is a set piece derby. Both teams really first and second right now in the league. I think when it comes to set piece goals, we are second, of course, but Arsenal ahead of us because that's how they do things. Arsenal seem, though, to only win when they get a set-piece goal. Obviously, Stephen Howson mentioned that. Carl Anka mentioned that recently. If they don't get a set-piece goal, they don't win a match. So we are going to have to do really, really careful about not conceding cheap free kicks outside the box, not conceding unnecessary corners. Like, shout for it. If you're going to clear it the right way kind of thing. Lemons, no more tipping the ball when it's already going out. We don't need any of that nonsense. But it's got to be this. You guys got to talk to each other. It's going to be hard to hear. I mean, wait, no, it's at the Etihad. Yeah, it won't be hard to hear. There's nobody fucking there. So we'll hear everything. It'll be like COVID season all over again, man. Steph says 21 watching, only likes. 6 likes, guys. Lurkers, please do hit that like button for me, guys. It does help the channel a lot. It is free. Helps the community grow. Helps the YouTube algorithm grab hold of the channel. YouTube is constantly making it more and more difficult for clubs or videos to do well, for streamers to do well. And that looks like a pen to me. Sorry. Derby just went on a breakaway here, and it looks like we almost conceded a pen, but well done. So yes, please hit that like button. Sorry, I get distracted, you guys. On Arsenal, though, set pieces. Honestly, though, it's like watching them play, they haven't been super like outstanding. There's nothing about them that screams like, yes, they're the best team in the world. they're getting results. And yes, getting results when you're not playing well, grinding out results, especially when teams sit in a low block and stuff and make it difficult, that is a difference maker. It really, really is. And yet somehow it's been sustainable. Again, they're top of the table. They are ahead of City by 7 points. It helps them that the league is absolute shit right now. I mean, City have completely imploded. I didn't see City dropping points at all when they started to pick things back up again, but I definitely didn't see him being this flat out just bad on the pitch. I mean, it's a bit bittersweet again because it does mean that Arsenal are well within touching distance, but we'll see what happens. We are a massive 15 points off Arsenal in 5th place right now. I don't think we're catching them. It would take a massive collapse for them to give it up, but we are just 1 point behind Liverpool, 1 point ahead of Chelsea, right in that sweet spot. But again, the league is still just so crazy. 7th through 10th is like a couple points. It's like 3 or 4 point swing right now. So literally, we could win or lose, and we could drop down to like 10th, win, and we could drop up to 4th. Who knows, man? The league is shit. Nobody seems to want top 4. I don't get that at all, but we are doing well. We've got the best shots on target per 90 in the league. We just need to do better at putting those chances away. I'd love for that to finally click this weekend. Let me see here. Danny says, I think we lose or draw, get screwed by VAR or something. Well, I do have the poll going in the chat, you guys. You guys know I always have the poll going for everybody. Want to know your thoughts on what you think the result would be. Let me check that poll real quick. Let me bring up YouTube again. You guys, if you get a chance too, when you're done, if you do enjoy the scouting reports, go check out the one I posted yesterday. Like I said, and I told Jarvis messaged me a little while ago as well from Tactical Devils that FB Ref has lost its contract with Opta. Opta has canceled its contract with pretty much everybody. So the scouting reports are going to look a little bit different from now on. I did manage to get this last one finished before they changed everything. So that was fortuitous. They canceled their contract on the 20th. But yeah, scouting reports will look a little different because FBref is no longer a thing anymore because Opta reasons. So far, you though say 61% of you say it's going to be a United win. 22% go for a draw. 17% say it's going to be an Arsenal win. So keep getting involved in the poll as well before we go along. Somebody says, how have Arsenal failed to score against Liverpool? Play them twice. Again, if you make yourself difficult to break down, Arsenal don't play that much differently whether you sit in a low block or not, because they like to just camp out outside of your box, rotate that possession, try to put balls into the box. And they'll do that whether you're sitting in a low block or not. That's just the way they like to do it. They trust themselves to do. They trust their defenders to deal with any balls in behind. So you're going to have to dial those passes in. You can't go them too far or too long because Gabriel Saliba will just nick them. But you can't put them too short because you got to be able to beat that kind of initial press from them. So it is going to be difficult for anybody, really. They do have the best defense in the league on paper. Danny says, any Mamadou Sangare links? I haven't seen any links. Jarvis messaged me about that earlier today. I did send him a link to the scouting report we did on Sangare in the summer because he's having a very good season, but he's very, very good. You guys know we like Mamadou Sangare here on this channel. United have the ball, getting in the Derby's box here, putting in a flat. I was way too far. That could have been in. Sorry. Again, Arsenal have the best defense in the league on paper. Watching them play, though, and it's a little confusing because their entire back line is literally, their back four is all center backs. Their left back is Timber, their right back is Ben White, and then obviously Gabriel Saliba. So it doesn't make sense to me. Gabriel does have a mistake in him. I think he conceded a pen or an own goal not that long ago. So he does have a little bit of a mistake in him. But again, they just got 4 center backs, so I don't get that one. They've been struggling to find the back of the net though. In the league, at least back-to-back 0-0 draws to Liverpool and to Forest. Again, you've got to make yourself difficult to break down, but they have been crushing it in the cups. They just destroyed Inter. I forget who they played in the domestic cup, but they did well against them as well. I want to say in Newcastle. I can't remember now off the top of my head. But again, they weren't able to find the back of the net against Forest. And it wasn't due to a lack of chances. They just weren't able to capitalize on their chances. And a couple of bad decisions, a couple of poor shots. And you could say Forrest got a little lucky, but, sometimes you need that. Sometimes that's the separator. We can't count on them misfiring again is basically what I'm getting at. They are a bit predictable, Arsenal, but they don't really like to utilize shots from just outside the center of the box. They don't really like to do anything from there. What they'd like to do in the final third is, again, get that ball wide so they can then put it in the box. They've got a lot of bodies in there, especially on set pieces. They got really good delivery as well. A lot of good movement. So we're going to have to watch guys like Saka Saka's basically like an Amon. He's going to get into the box. He's going to cut it back, basically. Madueke, Martinelli, they've got pace as well. Trossard's been in really, really great form for them. Obviously, Eze is there. He's taken a little bit of time for them to really feel good about it. Although he did get a hat trick not that long ago as well. But Arsenal don't win when they don't score goals from a set piece. So, again, don't do them any favors. Don't give away any cheap free kicks outside the box. Don't give away corners that we can avoid. Senna Lamens is going to have to accept the fact that he's going to get pushed around a little bit on corners. As you can see, Arsenal played Chelsea in the League Cup, and you've got players grabbing hold of everybody. You can see Sanchez is just getting boxed out of here. He can't do anything. And this is what's going to happen. This is how they nicked that cheap goal against us, the opening game of the season, if you guys remember that. A foul on Bayindir that wasn't called, and they score. I don't know how Kyle Walker can go down like a sack of shit and we get a goal ruled out in the corner, but Arsenal can literally hold Bayindir's arm, score from a corner, and that is the difference maker. We were by far the better team on that day. So hopefully we can repeat that again today. Oh, you know how to get a shot off? It is blocked. So, but Laman is going to have to be brave. Get your hands up, come and claim those balls as soon as you see them. They also like to use some decoy runs and basically set picks so that they can. Sorry, I gotta clear my throat a little bit. It's really dry in here. It's so cold. But they like to set picks, and they like to lock off any chance the opposition has for getting to the ball. I'm going to bring up a clip for you. I just got to make sure it's compliant with YouTube's regulations here. So here, let's look at this. So they like to get, so you can see they got this weird new set piece routine on your corners. They've got 5 players at the back post. Inter are just standing around marking nobody, which zonal marking don't like it. But watch what Arsenal are going to do. They're going to send players forward, and basically those players are going to set a pick. So when this ball is delivered to the back post, Inter can't get back because there's players blocking them off. And that's what Arsenal have been doing a lot of this season, is getting players that run in and blocking. So either it's going to be a near post flick. So what's going to happen is if they try a near post ball, all those players that run in and block the back post ball are actually going to go and stand in front of the opposition players, so they can't get to the near post ball. So they're going to set picks, and then they're going to have one player near post to flick it towards the back post. That's what they do. Arsenal set picks and put bodies and block people off on their set pieces and make it so the opposition cannot move. That is what they're going to do. So look for decoy runs, look for those picks, look for those bodies. We have to be alert to that, because otherwise we will get absolutely done on these set pieces. And I don't want to get done on set pieces. I'm tired of conceding cheap set piece goals to these lot. I'm telling you right now. Let me get caught up in the chat here, see where you guys are at here. Somebody says, how many times have Arsenal conceded first and failed to win a draw? That's the key. Score first. They are fragile. I would love to score first. I love the nick early goals because I do think it does change tactics completely. It changes the game plan for the opposition if you're able to nick an early goal, or if someone gets an early yellow or something. All of that does help. Steph says, our defenders need to do a Kyle Walker and hit the deck. There we go. Just drop to the floor. Just go full Neymar. If someone elbows you, drop to the floor and roll the entire length of the pitch. I think legend has it, Neymar is still rolling from that. Arsenal, they don't do a lot to cut out balls. They've got nearly the worst interception per 90 rate in the league. They've got the worst clearances, the worst saves, but a lot of that does come down to the fact that they don't allow a ton of shots. They want to camp out in the opposition half. They want to cycle possession until they can put a ball in the box. They want to use a lot of movement. So we're going to have to be communicative. Senna Laman's going to have to be on his best behavior in terms of just calling shit out and being vocal, being a leader. Maguire will be a big help. Leach will be a big help. Mazraoui back, if he's fit, could be a big, big help as well. We need some experienced heads back there. Odegaard's been in poor form. Gyökeres is hot and cold. I mean, who knows what he's going to do? He could show up. He can just be Gyökeres for all I know. I really don't know what to expect from him. I don't really rate Martinelli. He's basically Rashford, not to be too harsh on Rashford. He's just pace, basically. He did get a hat trick, but that was against Port Vale. So, I mean, cool. I don't know what to tell you. So what do I know, I guess, right? Eze can be a handful, like I said. He did get a hat trick against Spurs in November, but it's Spurs. Really, the two players that worry me are going to be Declan Rice and Gabriel, and they worry me on set pieces because somehow Declan Rice set piece delivery, especially on corners, has been the best I've ever seen. Like anything that guy does on a set piece is magic. The free kick goal he scored against Real Madrid last year was a thing of beauty. Like some of his delivery on set pieces literally could not be more perfect. I don't know where he got that from. I really don't. And I think that's where they could really hurt us. They don't have many goal scorers from open play. Like Trossard and Gyökeres are their top scorers, and each of them just has 5 goals apiece. And so it's like Trossard, the Arsenal fans didn't even want him there last year. So it is what it is. But these are those two who I would worry about. As far as United goes, let's try not to get too fixated on the starting 11. The shape's going to change throughout the game. The 4-2-3-1 is how we're going to set up on paper. We do go with a 3-2-5 in the build-up, but for the most part, it has been a bit of a 4-4-2 off the ball. This is how we were set up a little bit against City on the weekend. You can see we're kind of set up in a mid-block here. We did make ourselves more compact, more difficult for City to break down. And this is something that gives me hope under Carrick, because under Amorim and even at times under Ten Hag, we were just too easy to play through. Carrick has shut us shop. We sit down again. This is again, City did manage to get into our half, but we're cutting off every central passing lane that there is right now. Now, this might be null against Arsenal because they don't really want to do this. So Carrick's going to have to figure out a way to do that. And he could do something like this. Again, when City did put the ball wide, we did get numbers in those wide. We shrank the space. We made it difficult for City to play through. This right here is a screenshot we're going to have to implement against Arsenal a lot because they are going to get that ball wide a lot. Against Forest recently, I mean, Forest did do themselves a lot of favors because despite being compact, they also sent a lot of runners deep into Arsenal's half. And what this did was it forced Arsenal to basically abandon their high press, and it actually kept a lot of their players pinned back because they had to keep an eye out for those attackers, which is something we have the speed for. We have the players who could do that. We need to utilize that. It doesn't mean always run. It just means have someone positioned a little bit to always give Arsenal something to think about. I'm not looking to change a whole lot in this one, to be honest with you, in terms of tactics, in terms of personnel. I don't need to change a whole lot of anything, honestly. But you guys, I want to know your starting 11 predictions. Who would your starting 11 be? We're going to see what happens. I don't think Arsenal are going to play in a low block. Arsenal aren't that team. They're not that team at home, especially. So I don't think we have to worry too much about Carrick's history of not being able to break down low blocks. I think we'll be fine in that regard. But they do have players who can punish us on set pieces. So starting 11, what are you guys saying here? Steph says, what I noticed from Old Trafford defeat, we should have let more players that can't head the ball, Bruno, Mount, leave them. Yeah, that's one thing that bugs me on corners is why don't we just have like a player out? Because what this does, it gives you an out ball if there's a deflection or a quick release if we get Lamens gets the ball. And also it takes one opposition player at least away from that set piece because now this player's got to mark you. Put 2 of them out there for all I care. Put them in a little wide position. So just like if you win the ball, get it wide and that player's off to the races. And now you've got someone else you can come and follow with as well. There's no need to have everybody in the box on the corners. It's ridiculous. Yeah, please do hit that like and subscribe for me, please, guys. What's this poll up to, you guys? We're going to get to the predictions here in a second as far as scores go. 21 votes so far. 57% of you are going with a United win. 29% of you think it's going to be a draw. 14% of you think it's going to be an Arsenal win. All right, well, I want to know your starting 11s because I've got who I would go with. Like I said, we're almost at full strength. Mazraoui's back from AFCON, which means it's just De Ligt and Xerxes that we're still missing. Reportedly, neither were involved in training this week earlier. I don't really know what the issue is with De Ligt. Carrick says, it was a small issue that was already there. It got a little more complicated when he got there, and they don't want to rush it. I did see that Carrick said that De Ligt could be back in the next couple of weeks, so we'll see how that goes, but I don't think we'll see him or Xerxes involved in this one. But if you were Michael Carrick, Would you make any changes to the side that beat Man City on the weekend? I mean, an argument could be made for moving Dorgu to left back, maybe benching Shaw and starting Cunha on the left, which is what I've ended up going with for my starting 11. Um, I'm definitely putting Mazraoui right back into the action, though, personally. I do probably think he'll come on as a sub, though, personally, because he hasn't had much time with Carrick yet, but I'm going to be putting his right back in it because you can't be worse than Dallo. To be fair, Dallo did improve in that second half against City, but again, Mizraoui's just heads and tails like way ahead of him. I could also see the argument for maybe benching Ahmad and putting on Shesko as well, which is what I did because I want height on these set pieces. It doesn't mean Ahmad's bad. It's because we got to also play a little bit to what Arsenal do. So I put Dorgu to left back because he can still get forward, but he also has the speed and the physicality and the energy and the stamina to get up and down the pitch for 90 minutes. I think he would be better than that. But I want Cunha on the pitch because I think Cunha did very well when he came on as a sub. His first involvement was to get an assist. Definitely starting the same guys up front, Bumo, Bruno. But I'm also going to be putting Shesko on there because I do think that he could be a big help for us as well, defending set pieces and also attacking on set pieces. Obviously, I've got the same midfield. Really, the only changes I have now are Shesko starting, Cunha to the left, and then Mazraoui in for Dallo while I put Dorgu to the back. That's how I would go with on this one. Let me see what you guys are saying. Danny says probably the same lineup for him. Yeah, and again, it's nothing right or wrong. I think Lacey is available again after he served his ban, so maybe he could get some minutes. You sort of feel like with Lacey, the first goal for him is coming. Like he's dialing it in, he's getting closer and closer. He's rattled the bar a couple times, and he looks dangerous. He's still a bit of an unknown quantity. I'd like to see him get his goal before he becomes a known quantity, but we'll see. Michael's in the house. Big up, Michael. Good evening. Sorry late. Watching the ICE protest. Interesting. Yeah. We are also halfway watching the FA Youth Cup between the youngsters and Derby County at Old Trafford right now too. Yeah, Maz in for sure. For me, he's got to go right back in. He's match fit. Like you can say again, he hasn't had much time with Carrick, but at the same time, how much time do you need? Just know how to defend. You know how to defend. Big up, Rob Taff. Long time no see, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Let me put this over this way real quick. There we go. We can still kind of see that. Hoping for an upset certainly can be done. Hey, I think that we could go for 2-for-2 against the top two teams in the league. I'd be very, very happy. Michaels agrees, same lineup. So I'm happy people like my lineup. I'm just changing a couple things up. It's not that I think Ahmad's bad, but we definitely need some height defending these set pieces. So that's what I'm going for, honestly. That's all I'm going for on that one. Score predictions, though. I want your score predictions because this one could be a bit of a slugfest if we're being honest. Honestly, flip a coin. Who knows what's going to go be? I want to know your scores. I'm inclined to think that this to me feels like it's going to be like a 2-2 draw. Personally, it could go either. It could be a 0-0 too, but I do think this could be a bit of a slugfest. My freaking light is flickering. That's not good. Might need to change that bulb. I'm going 2-2 draw. That's my lineup that I think could get it done. I think this could be a bit of a back and forth personally. I think there will be goals, but I think that Carrick has made us compact in open play, which I really like the look of. I just worry if that's really going to make a difference against Arsenal. He has a good record as interim coach against some big managers, though, even when he's at United before. I don't expect a carbon copy of the same setup and the same tactics, though, we saw against City. He has changed things up a bit. When he was interim last time, he changed things up a bit depending on the opposition. But I do expect to see a lot of the same principles, cut off the space, be compact, difficult to break down. I think he will have a little different set piece setup, though. He needs to. If he doesn't, then he's not doing himself any favors here. Danny is going 2-1 Arsenal. Sorry. There we go. I think I fixed it there. 2-1 Arsenal. Uh-oh. Danny's never changed, Danny. Michael is going 1-1 draw. So kind of like what I'm saying, except I'm going 2-2. I think there's going to be some goals in this one, personally. They're at home. We're in good form. New manager bounce. I think this could be a bit of a back and forth, personally. But yeah, let me know your score predictions. Is this a bit of a free kick or free hit for Michael Carrick here? I mean, lose and it's almost to be expected, right? Like, okay, you're facing the top of the table team. They're one of the best teams in Europe right now in the league, in the Champions League. they're dead cert almost for winning the league. You're an interim boss. You've been here one match. We're struggling. Like, it's almost like everyone expects it, right? It's almost a free hit. Win, and it's overcoming insurmountable odds and back-to-back wins though against City and Arsenal, first and second place team in the league. So it's a free hit for him. If we lose, no one's really going to expect anything different. If we win, it's going to be nuts. Like shameless, reckless streams going on. Potentially go fourth if Bournemouth somehow managed to nab points off Liverpool during their busy week, because Liverpool did just play as well recently. Arsenal fans already worried that their team is playing like they're afraid to bottle it, I've seen, which is they think that's exactly what's going to cause them to bottle it. So we'll see again, but I inclined to agree to an extent, because it is a lot of that passing around the box, maybe hoping that a passing lane is going to open up. No one's really taken a shot, and that kind of stuff's not going to win the league. Again, they can't rely on set pieces forever. They have failed to score in their last 2 matches as well, and those ended 0-0 draws. So they've got to find different ways to score. Again, we were the better side against them to start this season. That fluky corner kick goal shouldn't have stood. Saw them run out winners. Hopefully we've learned our lesson. Hopefully we take our chances. Hopefully we put a major dent in their title charge. I would love it, love it, love it, love it, not to quote Kevin Keegan. If we handle Arsenal like we handled City, though, here's a question for you guys. Does anyone change their minds when it comes to Michael Carrick potentially deserving consideration for the permanent head coaching job? Let me know your thoughts on that one. Let me get back up here in the chat real quick. Danny says, probably play Mbeumo 9. I'm on the right wing. Yeah, I could see it, Carrick going with the same exact team. I don't see what Šeško has done to not get minutes personally. And again, height on set pieces is something that we're going to need, because Šeško can win a lot of those balls. He can win the long balls that we maybe kick, that he can maybe beat Gabriel Saliba, and maybe we could get some runners around him. That could be a big help. That's what he did at Leipzig. I think that if he can win those headers on the corners and get them out to a wide player like Mbeumo, Cunha, that could be a big help too. He could be a big asset for us in that regard. Rob Taft says 2-2 seems realistic. I think we score. Arsenal don't seem to score many. They haven't recently, and then when they don't score from a set piece, they don't end up winning either. So Michael says he's nothing to lose, just go for it. Yeah, he's going to want to, his job, and he said this today, his job is to keep us in the best position possible. And so I don't think he's going to just kind of be cavalier about it. Not saying you are, but I don't think Carrick is going to go just screw it. We're nothing to lose. I think he is going to try to do his best, because either way, again, the reason I asked about the permanent role, if he wins this one too, he's got to audition too, either for this job or for another job, because he wants to coach. He was managing Middlesbrough until he got this job. He did well at Middlesbrough until that third season. It all kind of went tits up. But he's going to want to audition. He's going to want to do well for himself too, whether he wants this job or not. But my question is, if we dominate Arsenal like we dominated City, does that change anyone's mind? Red Devil, big up Red Devil, welcome back, says, the game last season we played too defensive. Under Ten Hag, we were more attacking at the Emirates. Carrick has to attack from the get-go. I like to see a lot more of the attacks that we saw from the City game, like this one. That was the defending the corner that led to Mbeumo's goal. We get that, Mbeumo gets that ball, beats that first press, Bruno picks the ball up, and then it's literally 4 United players on the attack, busting the gut to get up to pitch. That's what I like to see. That's classic United. If you were trying to explain United to someone who doesn't watch United, that's probably what you'd say United do, right? Michael says, I don't think Michael will get the job. I think they will go for a proven manager in the Prem. I wouldn't put it past Ineos. Again, Ineos are not the Glazers, are not Woodward, so trying to paint them in a different light. I'm not trying to just say, well, we did it with Ollie, so because that was a totally different ownership, totally different structure. I would hope that we have a plan. And again, the big part of what I said the other week when someone was really pushing for Carrick to get the job already is A, it's one game, let's chill. But B, there's nothing against Carrick at all. We can have another conversation if he goes on and wins every game. Like, we can have that chat. But if we give him the job, it's what that says to me is that Ineos had no plan whatsoever, that they weren't talking to anybody. They weren't really trying. They were sitting on their ass. They were moving too slowly. And that's something we can't forget. We can't let them off the hook, even if Carrick goes on an amazing run. We can't let them off the hook. It has nothing to do with Carrick and everything to do with Ineos. Rob says, more time now with the team. I think defensively we should look solid again with Steve Holland. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, we'll see. I thought we looked great against City. Like I said, I put up those screenshots from the derby when we were kind of making ourselves compact, forcing that ball wide, and still getting job done out there. What are you guys saying? Who's got the votes here? 29 votes. 59% of you think it's going to be a United win. I'm going to end the poll there, you guys. Please make sure you like. Please make sure you subscribe to the channel, you guys, if we are new. But that's it for me, you guys. Thank you for everyone getting involved. Please make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't yet done so. I do appreciate that. Go and hype some old videos if you have some time. It does help the channel a lot. Check out some of the recent videos, like I did the scouting report special yesterday with 7 players that for you guys to take a look at. There's a ton of links in the video description for other videos, Michael Carrick's tactics, Ruben Amorim replacements, and so on and so on. Go check those out as well. And then also go ahead and check out the United vs. Everybody store. It's 20% off. I extended the sale for you guys, so everything's 20% off. So go check that out, you guys. Hopefully, we will be back talking about 3 points this weekend. Would be nice. So until then, though, I'm going to finish watching this FA Youth Cup match. Hopefully, if you guys have MUTV, you can go do the same. But I will see you guys later and enjoy the rest of your day. Let us know what you guys are getting up to on a Friday. Take care, everyone, for getting involved in the chat. I appreciate everyone and everyone getting involved. You guys know I love doing this. I never consider myself solo kind of streamer. I consider all of you my co-hosts. Like I said, this is your channel. So take it easy, you guys, and I will talk to you later. Peace.